Welcome to JC Transformation Strategies. Welcome to another Sunday Bible reading and study session as well as informative session. Okay, so today's topic is that was laid on my heart, and I was spoken by God and the universe to actually do today's topic because it's so relevant. And even today's topic gets me out of my comfort zone. So yeah, it's all about learning, it's all about striving, it's all about just doing what we can in survival mode, but to make sure that we in the realm of divinity and in positive energy. Okay, so today's topic is about control is out of your control. Okay, so I'm going to repeat it again. Control is out of your control. Okay, so today's scripture reading is going to be from Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 to 7. Right, so it says, don't worry about anything, but in all your prayers, ask God for what you need, always asking Him with a thankful heart, and God's peace, which is far beyond human understanding, will keep your hearts and your minds safe in union with Christ Jesus. Now, verses 6 is basically what catches my attention and what I really like. Even from a small child, I always admire that verse where it says, don't worry about anything. So the Bible and God is clearly telling you not to worry about anything. Okay? Don't worry about anything, but in all your prayers, ask God for what you need. But always asking Him with a thankful heart. Okay? So remember, it all starts off with gratitude. You know how it works with spiritual energies and stuff. You need to be grateful, gratitude, and then after that, then you can start trusting God. Be grateful for what you have and all of that. So you don't need to worry. Remember, worry comes from a place of anxiety and fear. And that fear leads to more worries and stuff. Okay, so do you know that being in control can be a source of anxiety? So basically, we want to take control of things. We want to be the master and the holder of controlling. But it's actually a sign of anxiety. So we are brought up to handle everything. Okay, especially if you are brought up in a childhood manner, you want to handle everything. You want to be the master of everything, take responsibilities, and it looks like you have the key to everything. So we are all brought up different, but we need to understand that we are all drivers to our own cars, our own vehicles. Okay, so you have the key to your destiny, you have the key to your life. So remember, as I always say, everyone has their own journey. Okay, your journey is different from my journey. Everybody's journey is different. And it's important that we actually realize that. So nobody has the same journey and path that we follow. We all have to follow our own paths to destiny. So once we understand that, it's very important. Remember that you are driving on your road. It could be a smooth road. It could be a rough road. There could be hazards around. There could be potholes. There could be even pedestrians that's passing through, people that just coming through, just going, people even sitting in your passenger seat. You need to know who's actually those type of people. Okay, so once we understand all of that, right, remember we're looking at it practically. Now remember that, picture yourself driving on the road. This is your vehicle, so you have full control of the path that you are taking. So once you drive in this path, you need to make sure that you are in control of yourself. You cannot be in control of everyone. Unfortunately, on the roads, you don't know what you're going to encounter. You might encounter like trucks, you might encounter any hazards, but you cannot control that. The only thing that you can control is yourself. So it's important to know that, okay? So remember, that's how it is in life. You cannot take control of others and other drivers, but you are in control of yourself. Right, so remember that certain things are just out of your control. You can never take responsibility for every single thing. The only responsibility that you can take is yourself. And it's sadly to say that we live in a time where we want to control everything. So everything that happens, we want to control it. We want to control other people's lives, people's opinions about you and everything. But those things are just out of your reach and you cannot do anything about it. So it's important to know that step. Then also, guys, when I was looking at this, I was looking at what is control. Control is where you take hold of something and you hold on to that. And remember now, sadly, is that we want to take control of other people and to hold that when it's none of our business, because it's none of our responsibilities. So that actually affects you. So the more control you take of others, of what is happening in the environment or the economy and things like that, it actually affects you in the long run. It's like you got a condition, all right, a health condition. You cannot take much of control of it, especially if it's immune related, because immune related all starts up from the immune system. And once you realize that you can't take control of something, then you try not to stress that much, because certain things are just out of your control. There's nothing you can do about it. And we have spent so much of time wasting time on what we cannot control, like the future, which is like out of our reach. We don't know anything what's going to happen, because everything is just left into God's hands. Okay, so it's important, guys. When I was looking into this, the Bible scripture was Philippians 4 verses 6 to 7, right? And then I understood that, you know what, there's certain things that's just out of our control. There's nothing we can do about it. But you need to also take responsibility for yourself. Okay, so there's a reminder to shift your focus from controlling. You need to shift that focus. If you've been a person always controlling, and basically you feel that this is what you want, this is how things should be, but it's out of your reach, you cannot do much about it, the best thing is just to let go. So the first step to controlling, if you're the controlling type of person, now how do you know if you're the controlling type of person? Let's say now you advise somebody that, you know what, these things are not good for you, okay, and you keep on telling them it's not good, it's not good. And what happens to it? It becomes a controlling habit. So that means now, once a controlling habit gets to you, right, you want to take control of it. You want to take control of the future of that person when it's not your responsibility. Remember, there's certain things that are just out of your control. Like, as you can even hear, as the dog is barking, that's out of my control. I cannot do anything about it. Timing is bad, but yeah. So that's what happens. So these external environments just happen. You never plan for it, but it just happens. Okay. So I want to say something about my side, guys, about controlling. Now, as you guys also know, that I've also been I was actually just thinking about myself when it came to this controlling part. Okay. So remember, guys, I was literally brought up in an environment where I took a lot of responsibilities on myself, especially my health, the way I did things, the way I conducted my life. And as I grew older, I became more responsible. And I didn't want to like rely upon people to do anything for me, because I was brought up in an environment where I was a support system for literally everyone. But then I realized that where's everyone? Nobody is supporting me. So that's when I had to draw the permanent boundary line and realize that, you know what, I'm not going to overdo things. So I was like a caring type, a people pleaser. Even when I was at college, I used to help people a lot and even do other people's needs more than me. But when I really needed something, nobody went out of the way. Okay, so I was that type of person. And then as growing up, then this traumatic experience occurred where I lost my bites, and it was out of my control. So I couldn't do anything about it, because when you lose your bites, you can't eat, your jaws are weak. There's nothing that you can do about it. It's just out of your control. And yeah, then I realized, like, yeah, you know what? This is a time where I'm not going to research. I'm not going to do anything. The surgeon already said that the last step is your surgery. And I was like, okay, that's it. I'm not going to take control of it anymore. And then I had to let go of it. So it's important to let go. Okay? You're letting go. You're leaving it to God. You're leaving it to the surgeon. You're leaving it to specialist. There's nothing you can do. The only thing you can do is be positive about your surgery that's coming up, or be positive about the diet that you're doing. Be positive so that your body doesn't get affected. Because when you have health issues, your body gets affected in the process. So all the trauma and everything and all the emotional led to the onset of me being more in controlling, unfortunately. And unfortunately, I had like doctors that supposed to do surgeries like for the nose, and in the end, they just like packed bags, ended up in India. They were gone. I don't know the reason for that, but yeah, maybe it wasn't meant and then it was gone. Because I don't know whether they'll perform so good surgeries, like compared to the surgeon that did an amazing job. Okay, so that's what happened. And then after that, remember guys, I had skin issues and I still do. So I suffer from like eczema and stuff. It's like very dried. Okay, and yeah, there is some scars that still left over. Now when you suffer from any type of skin issues, be it eczema, psoriasis, acne, rosacea, all these type of skin, it affects you as well. It affects you mentally. Nobody tells you these things. And I didn't know about it until yesterday when I was sitting down and thinking that when I was in high school, I didn't know much of information on what is topical steroids withdrawal, and how it affects you until it happens to you as an adult. And then you put the pen to paper and you realize that this is what happened to you. So after that, I also realized that skin related issues, immune related issues, all starts from your mindset. And unfortunately, I wasn't using dresses, I wasn't using skirts, and I wasn't even using like sleeveless tops until it came to, I was probably at the age of, okay, I'll just give it a year. I think it was in 2024, I think, or 2025. Yeah, I think it's actually this year, because I had a tropical steroid withdrawal, TSW. You can research about it. And when that happened, it was basically for me to realize that eczema is out of my control. I cannot do anything about it. I do have the skin condition. I'm not ashamed to tell it, okay? Because I know there's many other people who have these issues and are ashamed of it because of so and so. And as you guys know, like, I don't care. I literally tell it out because I want to help people. I don't want people to commit suicide or be in depression because of the gossipers, okay? So I've learned about that, and I learned that eczema is just out of your control. It's basically, as everyone says, it's a gut issue. Psoriasis is a gut issue. So it starts from the inside. And when you start stressing about things, especially things out of your control, it affects you. So I wasn't using dresses, skirts, open tops, and I used to love to use like, not like that revealing, but like, something when it's a hot day, just to like have some airflow and stuff like that, like a sleeveless top. And I couldn't because it was like all over spreaded, and even on my hands and everywhere, it was bad. And I used to feel like my self-esteem was right low, like completely low. And when I used to see other girls dressing up like that, I used to like feel down and everything. And I didn't know as growing up, it actually affected me. That it came to a time when, even after surgery, I still used to get affected. I was like, come on, I'm looking so beautiful. All the specialists were saying, you're looking so beautiful. You got a good body figure. And you look amazing in whatever outfits you were planned to use, like, I'm talking about like beachwear outfits, like swimsuits and everything. So they used to tell me like, why are you stressing over that? And I was like, I don't know. And then I realized that I came from a place where I felt unsafe, I felt unloved, and I realized that how it actually affects you when you grow up. So for me to do this video, it was something out of my comfort zone. This is one of my triggers, guys. So yeah, it was a big healing process. So because of the skin issue, and then I finally realized that, you know what, it's because of the skin issue that I couldn't wear what I wanted to wear. And that affected me as growing up, because I used to see other women who has more confidence probably. And I think everybody's trying to strive into that good figure, especially when you go into the beaches or whatever. You know how it goes. People want to be in good shape. So I think that's their body goal. Right. And then I was like, wow, I actually have it. And I'm actually stressing. And then I realized that, you know what? I don't know why I was actually stressing over this. Because when I used to go out, even to town or even like to the beach, and I used to feel like so low because I don't have that. I don't have that perfect skin. And then I realized also that nobody's happy in their skin. Even if somebody's light, they want to have a tan figure. Even if somebody is a bit skinny, they want to get chubby. Or somebody's chubby, they want to get skinny. And then people used to tell me like, you got it all, because you got a good skin tone. They don't even know that I actually have eczema. But I was like, okay. And then they're like, you got a good skin tone, you got a good shape, look at your hair, look at everything of you, your features and everything, especially now after surgery. It's more positive features. But I didn't actually know about it until I started loving myself and accepting, and until I put an end to the curse of controlling, because I feel like controlling is more like a curse thing. Controlling takes over your mind, where you lose your self-esteem, your self-actualization of who you are, and then you look at others. And remember, as I said, you don't know what somebody else is going through, and why do we want to be like them? I hate when it comes to the facts of people will say, oh, you look like so and so, like this children or that children. You don't want to be like somebody else. You just want to be yourself. And to tell you the truth, I don't want to be like anybody else, even like passed on generations. I mean, like, yeah, that's good for them, that they left on that legacy. But I don't want to be like them. I want to be my own person. I want to be my unique person, what God in the universe has chosen. So remember, things are out of your control. And what is out of my control is my skin issue, which it just pops up. And as you guys know, when it comes to skin issues, it just comes up. We don't know what happened. Some people even like swear how the language. I was even like watching on TikTok. It gets annoying because like you do everything. You're on diets, you're not on sugars, you're not on salts, you're not on MSGs. But then the visitor comes unexpectedly, just comes up. You don't know what happened. You never even scratch it, but it's already like a patch. And then you're like, oh, what happened? So that's basically to say that it's out of your control. And I realized that it's out of my control. So I don't know what you're facing that's out of your control. It could be maybe you're diabetic, or maybe you have cholesterol, or whatever you have. Okay, even cancer, it's out of your control. There's nothing you can do about it. But just be on the treatment, be on the diets, be on the positive energy. Sometimes if your mindset is more shifted into positive, then you can heal. Okay, like even with allergies, because remember I have allergies in my blood. So within my blood system, there's nothing I can do about it. But I know they say to do like cleansing and stuff from inside, but there's only certain things that you can do, and certain things that is just out of your control. But today I want to tell you that whatever you are under control, look at it, write it down. And why are you stressing over it? Why are you stressing over other families if they are smoking and drinking? What it got to do with you? The main thing, as long as you give a word, you say it right. You know that smoking is bad. You know you'll end up with lung cancer. You know how it affects you. If you are pregnant and smoking, how it's going to affect you if you're drinking. But you can't be there to babysit, because you know why? That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is you. It's your mental health. And once you realize that, you won't waste your time and your energy worrying about others. Understand people are family. We all like to party, but people need to do their own thing as well. Because if you're going to be like that, yeah, you're going to end up into a psychological issue, and it's not good. Okay, so I had to literally even cut that off as well. I don't want to be over caring for people, over satisfying people. I believe that, you know what, it also depends how much you give. So if I'm giving you this much of my hand, I expect the same thing in return. I can't actually give you so much if you're not going to meet me halfway. So that's how it is. Sometimes you have to be tough when it comes to these things, especially people pleasers. They have a problem when it comes to controlling. And then you need to also understand, like, what causes this feeling of controlling, like controlling. I know the worst controlling part is in a relationship. If you're in a relationship with somebody and they're very controlling of who you talk to, who you hang out with, who you message, what you wear, and then that's way controlling. That's a bit too much even for me. And the problem is that relationship doesn't really last long, unfortunately. There's a lot of hurdles, because I had people in school when I used to see that they were in a relationship with controlling older guys, and as they couldn't do what they want, it just got worse and worse, because these guys were very controlling. They wanted they wanted to do things, and they wanted things their way, like meet up at certain time, and if you don't meet up, then you probably get shouted, hit, or whatever. And we used to watch that, and it was actually abuse. And I realized that now, as growing up, that was actually abuse. And controlling even leads to abuse, emotional abuse, even if it's not physical where you hit him, it's emotional. Okay, so what causes controlling? It comes from a place of intense emotions. Your emotions are bottled up. As I said to you, my emotions was more of trauma. I felt insecure. I lost something that's precious to me. I used to see my skin not so good. I wasn't looking that attractive. It affects you. Come on, it really affects you, because not only you notice, everybody else notice, and the families notice, and then they tell you about it, and some people tell you on your face, you know what, this is what happened, you know. But yeah, that's what happened. So it affects you, and I'm so sorry that if you've been through that. I know what it's like. It's not easy, but that is why we need to cut generational cycles. That's what we do every week on our channel. We cut it and we replace it with healing. So yeah, intense emotions happen, which is the biggest culprit of everything is stress. Remember, when your stress rises up, everything rises up, everything gets flared up, your body gets flared up, every single thing. So stress is like the biggest culprit ever when it comes to controlling, because you get so stressed about, why is this person not doing it? Why is she like this? Why are there so much of pride? And at the end of the day, everybody has egos and pride, so we shouldn't really go out of our way. We can't control. Some people are just born that way. Some people, nature is to be evil, and that's what I came to terms with. So I'm not going to really waste my time on that. Remember, you need to be willing to change. If you're not willing to change, then that's it. So it also comes from grief. When you lose something, as I said to you, it also affects you, and that leads to controlling, because a loss is something that's irreplaceable. It's that hole in your heart, and it's very difficult to say what you're grieving for, because there's many things you've lost. You could have lost your job, you could have lost your partner, you could have lost your car. There's so many things. You even could have lost your baby. So there's a whole lot of things that can control, and that actually controls the way you think. So let's say now you lost a baby, and every time you see a baby or you see mothers with babies, you become like a control freak. Okay, you become so different. It's like Mother's Day that just approached. Some women were a bit angry because they couldn't have a child. Okay, so those emotions come from how you felt, how you dealt with things. It can come from grief. This is something I've actually learned today. Okay, guys, so I'm explaining to you, but due to all my experiences, I can tell you that this is how it comes. So a feeling of loss or something, maybe you lost your job, and that led to controlling, and then you want to control. Okay, guys, so the best thing is you need to accept, all right, so we have so and so issues, we need to move on, and make sure that there is no comparison. We cannot end up comparing ourselves. Remember, comparison is a deadly killer to everything. It's a killer of your confidence. It's a killer of your life, literally, because you compare your kids, and that's it. So all of that leads to control, because you start to be control of what is happening. So let's say now your child got 80%, that child got 100%. You start comparing what happened, and that affects the child, it affects you. But you don't understand how it actually affects the child more. And then when the child grows up, the child is actually in a competition always. Why? Because my parents were comparing me. And that affects you, because that's just passed on into generation to generation. And then also you become a control freak. Now look at how even relationships end up into be control freaks. It all starts off how you brought up. So where your home, was it safe to live in? Was it a good place? Or were you coming to a place where it was so scary? It's so scary when the dishes are banging. It's so scary when the doors are slamming. The environment is key to wherever you go, right? Make sure that the family that comes from you is completely different to the family that you come from, because I'm definitely going to do that as well. Because I won't say that I have a perfect family, no ways, but I want to break generational cycles. I want to make sure that the royalty family from me always be royalty. That's it, high class standard with positive energy. Okay, so that was basically, guys, what I wanted to actually share with you, of how the trauma and everything controls the way you act, and how it controls everything of you. And then it leads you to becoming a control freak. And you can be a control freak in several areas. But I want to tell you today is that you need to understand that certain things doesn't matter to you. I want you to let go of those things. What is happening in other people's lives doesn't mean anything to you. The main focus now is you. You are priority. You need to set that goal. You need to make sure that whatever your goals are aligned, that's all that matters. Whatever happens, the garbage is happening in someone else's life, it doesn't matter to you. Right. Yes, guys. So before I finish, how do we stop feeling in control is so important. Firstly, notice your mindset. Is my mindset in positive or is it under negative in terms of controlling? Am I always thinking of how to control everyone and all of that? I need to shift that mindset to be positive and understand that, you know what, certain things are out of my reach. I cannot do anything about it. So I want you guys to picture like a brain. It's a picture that's going to pop up. And all the things that are outside your brain, those things you cannot do anything about it. The economy you cannot do anything about. Whatever is happening in your family's business, you cannot do anything about it. Yes, auntie, there's nothing you can do about it, okay? Whatever is happening on the outside, okay, other people's opinions, other people's judgment about you, whatever other people say, there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing what you can do is about what you say, what you allow in your life, your positivity, your mindset, your achievements, and who you want to be. Okay, so there'll be a picture there popping up. You're gonna actually look at it and you're gonna see, are these things really in my mind? What's taking up space? The reason why you're so tired, so drained up, short memories, because you're allowing so many other things in your brain which are not supposed to be there. So you need to erase that and start to only care about you. That's it. Nobody else. Okay? Just you. So that's, notice your mindset. Only you can control you. Remember that. Don't control everybody else. Don't waste your time. Okay? It's just wasting time and energy. Number 3 is do meaningful things. When you get your mind distracted, you won't have time to worry about everything else which is out of your reach. So try and read a book. Do whatever. Okay? Just get your mind distracted. Do a puzzle game. Do something that excited you in your childhood. That's actually a good start. Okay? Now, remember that, as I said in our lesson today, emotions lead to control. Intense emotions lead to control, leads to a lifestyle. Where is your lifestyle? Is it caged up in controlling or is it free? So you need to look at your lifestyle. Okay? Read Proverbs 19 verses 21 that says, many plans do I have, but the final say comes from God. So you can have many plans. I want to do so and so. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to send my kids here. I want to send my kids there. I've got so much to do. But in the end of the day, we all have plans, but God has a final say. And that's when it's going to ease that stress, ease that worry about worrying about everyone, controlling everyone. And I want to tell you something, that when you when you have too much to control, you struggle to adapt, you struggle to be flexible, you struggle to adapt to change. Okay, that means when you are in control, you end up losing yourself, and you actually end up not relaxing, not exploring the world, not exploring anything, because you became so controlled, you became so controlling. Okay, and I'll tell you guys a real example of that. Remember, as I said about my skin issues, where I used to feel so controlled about it, and I didn't like, how come other people can dress up that way? How come their skin is good? But then I realized there's also things, there's plastic surgeries and all those things, and makeup that covers a whole lot of things. And our generation never tell us that, our grannies never tell us that, you know what, most of the people look so pretty and so fair skin is because of makeup. Nobody told you, okay? They always like, oh, she looks so beautiful, like a film actor. All that garbage. Remember, we used to hear that? But we just break those generational curses. I'm telling you guys that you are beautiful as you are. You don't need those makeup, those powder, that concealer, those lip lines, none. You can maybe pop it up a bit, but don't overdo it, you know? So what happens when you become very controlled? So I was like that. So I used to think very little of myself. And when I use clothes, I used to feel I'm not beautiful enough. Okay. So as I told you guys, I had insecurity about it because I'll see other people with dresses or other people with, let's say, when you go into the beach and they dressed up with their body figure clothing and stuff. Okay. And then I ended up being more isolated because of that. And I realized that I was missing out on fun. I was missing out on exploring. I was missing out on so much of adventurous just because I was more worried about what this person is using, or this person is here, and so and so. And I missed out on things. And I realized that today I'm putting an end to it. I'm cutting off the control curse that was actually laid in my life. And I actually want you guys to control that control curse that was laid in your life. The devil wants to control you. He wants to control your mind by popping up all these flashes of what happened. And everything is linked to the past, okay? The past is what chains you up and drives you back today. Because the devil doesn't want you to move forward, because there's something beautiful when you move forward. So that is why, guys, I'm telling you now, don't miss out on exploring adventurous, good, exciting things and be stuck up with what happened in the past. There's nothing you can do about it. Everything is out of your control. All right. And I realize that as well, that things are out of my control. Just take a deep breath in and out. Whatever you see, people not doing good things or not dressed up well, just take a deep breath in and out and realize that, you know what, this is not in my control. I want nothing to do with this person. It's not my responsibility. And once you get that mindset shift and you realize that this is not in my control, everything will work out for you. But it all starts with your minds. So don't be distracted by the enemy's weapon of controlling. That is why today's message is extremely important, of how controlling affects you, your self-esteem, your self-image, even the way you conduct life. Because controlling actually even affects your exploring side, going out. It just wants you to be isolated. Break that cage today of being controlled. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate that, and I hope you guys have been blessed. And those who have celebrated birthdays, wedding anniversaries, birth of a child, congratulations. God bless you, and may God help you during this time if you have lost anybody as well. Okay, so today I just want to say that may God help you if you actually are the control freak of everything that's happening. May God help you to release, to let go of being controlled in other people's lives. May God help and heal your mind, heal your body of all these traumatic events that happen to you, those intense emotions, that anger, that bitterness, the jealousy, the family generation curses, which is the worst thing that's passed on. May God break that generational curse that has passed on, that made you so timid, that made you so scared, that made you isolate. And I pray that you will find your calling, you will find your gift in your destiny that the universe has bestowed on you. And may your life be blessed to the uttermost fullness. God bless you, and may God heal you and touch your hearts, okay? In Jesus' name we pray. Thank you guys so much. Stay tuned to JesC Transformation for more strategies.